Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Mika and I want to give you guys some tips on how to shoot better music videos. Now, I've been working in the music video space for the past 5 years and I've shot dozens of music videos that have been good and bad, and I've learned a lot from my experiences. And if you're just an upcoming filmmaker just getting started in video, and also if you're starting to do more music videos or would like to get into the music video space, I've got 5 tips for you guys that will help make your life easier, add some efficiency to your process, and also help you shoot better music videos. And one last thing, if you're a filmmaker and looking for some free filmmaking assets, I have a link down below with a collection of LUTs, overlays, aspect ratio mattes, some 8mm grain, and they're all for free, so just check them out. Okay, let's dive straight into it. If you're a filmmaker and do a lot of music videos, you know that lighting is very important. If you're just getting started as a music video shooter, getting the right lights for your project can be expensive. Having access to quality lights can be tough at first, especially if you're shooting music videos that, you're making maybe a couple $100 off the project. I would recommend figuring out how to light your subject better. I would recommend spending some time learning about lighting, especially in an outdoor environment. With having to shoot outdoors, it's best to figure out the best times of day to shoot in. Your exposure, your shadows, your highlights are gonna look different based on different times of the day. What's great about daylight is that you can do a lot of things with it. You can bounce it, you can diffuse it, you can flag it off, so it's really important that you get out there, literally, and learn how to diffuse light. Getting a $30 reflector would do a lot of things for your image, and understanding how light works through those mediums will help you also be more comfortable when it comes to shooting in studios and things like that, and knowing how to light subjects. And with that, when it comes to shooting in studio or indoor spaces, if you've taken some time to learn how to light things outdoors, then it'll be also, all that knowledge is going to transfer into shooting indoors and understanding how light works in those environments as well. And if your project is calling for shooting indoors or in a studio or against a cyc wall, then I would suggest taking some time, doing some research, and learning how other filmmakers are lighting their setups and figuring out. I've got my own behind the scenes content on this channel. I have stuff on my Instagram, on my stories all the time. Whenever I'm doing a shoot, I try to figure out how other people are doing their lighting setups and also how I can improve on my lighting setups too. And there's a ton of people out there that just like to put their light on a stand and just blast it at the subject, but how you shape your light and how you diffuse it, how you bounce it, how you flag it off is really key. Pun intended, key lights. Key lights are important. And with lighting setups, it's really important to have a lighting plan ahead of time, or maybe scout the location you're going to shoot in, or just have some reference photos so that when you show up on set, you know what you're gonna do and you don't have to stand around looking like a dummy, figuring out how to light a certain thing while your client is waiting on you. Tip number 2 is camera movement. Learning how to move a camera is a skill set that you learn over time, because camera movement is what brings life to your video. When it comes to shooting music videos, having camera movement is key, whether if it's doing a dolly shot, a gimbal, handheld, or whatever type of movement you're going for. Especially if the song is high energy, it's really important to have some camera movement in there. 5 years ago when I was first getting started shooting music videos, I was not good at operating a gimbal. So if you have a gimbal or have some tool that's helping you get some camera movement or stabilized movement shots, it's really important that you study how those tools work and learning the ins and outs of those things, because when I had my gimbal, I was horrible at balancing it. So when I scroll back and look at my past work, I can see my shots being like this or looking like this when I'm doing a push in or a pull out or any of those movements. And I was also horrible at focusing on what my image looked like when I was doing a shoot. Sometimes I'd be looking at the screen and looking off screen and all of a sudden having an out of focus moment. So all that to say, bad camera movement or lack of camera movement can make or break your video. If you have really beautiful movement, you can make engaging music videos that will attract other artists, other brands, or other, potential clients to see your work and see something that's beautiful and also want what you've done for your past clients. So camera movement is key. There's a lot of ways to do it, and it's important because it could be the thing that's holding you back from reaching that next level client that you're looking to work with, that next level artist that you're wanting to do a music video for, So if you have a setup, if you have a gimbal, or if you don't, even learning how to shoot handheld, I have this video up here that's got some tips on how to shoot better handheld video, honing in your skill set with camera movement, whatever area of camera movement you want to be more skilled in is key. Okay, the third tip that I have for you guys is having a shot list. Now, a shot list is something that I create for every single music video that I shoot. And shot lists are just as important as the first two tips that I gave you guys. Having a shot list with you can help you make sure that you're on track while you're on set, and also make sure that you're getting the right footage, the right things that you need for the edit. When it comes to shooting performances for music videos, it is key to capture the footage in multiple takes and also in multiple angles. Some of the basic 3 angles that you can go with are, getting your wide, medium, and close-ups, and maybe switch up the angle of your medium shot and then switch up the close-up shot as well, and get a variety of shots that you can use for your edit, because a lot of times, people just do one take of, a certain setting, and they forget to do a close-up or another angle. So when they go in post and look at their footage, they realize that they only have one take of this certain location and didn't take, the time to do some other shots that they can use for their edit. With shooting a variety of angles, for your music videos, you can keep your audience engaged and also, deliver something that's got multiple looks, multiple angles, and cuts to the pace of the song, and it just creates a better music video that can hopefully lead to more work for you. A lot of times people just shoot in 3 locations but don't take the time to do it in a variety of angles. So when you're watching the video, within the first 20 seconds of the video, you've already seen the entire, concept, and there's nothing else to watch, and that can just make your audience click on the next thing and cancel out or close out the window. And it starts with having a shot list for every music video. Also, a quick tip when it comes to shooting in a variety of angles, take some time and understand what different angles mean. If you're shooting a character from a low angle and you're shooting up at them, it makes the character feel more powerful and more dominant, So different angles have different applications, and tons of video out there. Go do some research and understand what different angles mean. Tip number 4 when it comes to shooting better music videos is to give your character some depth of field. I love me some good depth of field. When it comes to shooting your subject or working with an artist, try to shoot somewhere between f2 and f2.8. Therefore, when you're shooting your subject in whatever environment you're shooting them in, you're gonna have some blur in the background, and it just adds some depth to your image. It makes it feel more cinematic, and also it just puts the focus on your subject as well. When I was first getting started with music videos, I would shoot my subjects in like 5.6 or f8, especially with shooting outdoors. I had no idea what a ND filter was, so I would be shooting at f11, and my images would be really in focus, but they wouldn't be necessarily cinematic or have any type of emotion or motif to them. Motive. I think I meant to say motive. That's what I meant to say, not motif. People recognize this stuff in videos even if they don't know anything about video or film. Everyone watches movies, everyone's on Netflix and Hulu, so they know what a cinematic shot looks like, and having depth in your shot is key. And then the last tip I would give you guys when it comes to shooting better music videos is to hone in on your pre-production process. Whenever you hear from a seasoned director, producer, filmmaker, they're gonna tell you that the most important aspect of filmmaking is the pre-production process. Learning how to prepare for a shoot and taking the right steps to hiring the right people, getting the right locations, coming up with a schedule, etc., is going to take your filmmaking process from being an amateur to a professional. Now, when it comes to pre-production, everyone's like, yeah, obviously it's important, but like, what do we exactly need to do? So right off the bat, some of the things that I would recommend you do before a music video is, having a treatment in place. Sometimes people don't make treatments. You know, treatments are different from making a mood board, because a mood board is just a collection of images on, you know, how the video is going to feel. But having a treatment which can have a shot list, having, you know, all your scenes set up in there, and having a schedule. If you're a one-man band, you know, hiring the right people, like having a first AC or DP, or styling, hair and makeup, set decoration, figuring out your locations, figuring out food, figuring out, you know, schedules, certain hours that you're gonna be shooting, how much time you're gonna spend shooting at each location. All those things, having a gear list, like all that stuff is so important, because you don't wanna show up to a shoot and have everything set up and, you know, not having a checklist that you're working off of, and all of a sudden realize that you don't have any CFast cards and you're kind of screwed in the moment, you know, or forgetting a type of lens that you were supposed to bring to this shoot, or maybe communicating a certain thing to the artist, or reminding them to bring a certain prop. Having a checklist, which your shot list, tip number 3, also falls under, is important, because it will actually save you a lot of time in the production process and also post-production process when you have things taken care of. So there you have it. Those are 5 tips from the past 5 years of filmmaking that I would recommend to you guys. And you know, there's a ton of more other tips that I would love to give you guys, but for now, just get started with these 5 things, and I promise you, I guarantee that your filmmaking level would go from amateur to professional. If there's anything that I missed, or if you have any questions, please comment them down below, and I would love to hear from you guys. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. You know, as a gift, I have some free filmmaking assets. They're linked down below, no strings attached, just some free LUTs, aspect ratio mats, things that will help in your editing process. I have them down below. Thanks again, guys, and I hope to see you soon.